Alright, we are on the draw with Rug Delver. Keepable hand. I don't know how great it is. It actually looks pretty good. Yeah, I'd say this is a rather great hand. Inquisition of Kozilek probably makes it a lot worse than it otherwise is. I don't need to see that. Let's just pull up the graveyard since we'll be going there anyways. It's a little awkward. Wow, they took Scour. They do not want to see an early Hooting Mandrills. That's very interesting. Traverse almost makes me want to go Stomping Ground, cast Traverse, get an island. I kind of don't want to Serum Visions, because I either get to use the island to Serum Visions and then shuffle away my Scry, although I do get to draw one of those cards, which is good, or we Shock, get a blue source, and not having all three colors seems bad, although Tarfire's not necessarily going to be great. I think we're going to go with the Island Serum Visions play. I think I want Goyf before this Misty, but I don't totally hate both. Let's go to their turn. Inquisition. It's the Dark Slick Shores that's making me question what they're on. Watery Grave. Bitter Blossom Faeries. Nice. That's probably going to give me a hard time. I think we want to power out a Hooting Mandrills here. Probably. It's just about our only way of racing this Bitter Blossom. We also have to hope that it doesn't get killed. Let's get ourselves a Stomping Ground and do the thing. Yep. So we did shuffle away that land that we may have drawn. We might get it anyways. All that makes me sad. We've got a juicy graveyard. I don't think you actually care about turning off Traverse right now. They have a sorcery, so we're definitely getting rid of this. Although we have Traverse. Let's start with the Delvers, because they're not going to stay. We have plenty of instants. It's land or visions. We'll get rid of the land. Makes Goyf small, but Goyf's not really relevant as far as damage goes. The opponent's probably not running bolts. I don't think this is a Grixis Faeries meta. Our opponent has Dismember, so Hoots will die. We may as well just go to our turn. We can't interact with that. Spell Snare also wouldn't have helped us, which kind of sucks. I think we go for the Goyf here. I believe that's our best play. We can Traverse out a green source and play Goyf. Could be good. My main concern, I'm not really worried about them grinding us out right now. This Bitter Blossom will clock us if we don't get a threat almost immediately. Spreading Seas is unlikely to save us. I'm basically just going to save it for a manland. Tarfire is probably going to be used on one of them tokens. So it's pretty much just Slam Goyf. The only question in my mind is, do I want to get this Traverse out of my hand and grab a land? It'll be a basic forest, which actually won't be very relevant once Goyf and Traverse are out of the hand, so I don't. We're probably better off just holding the Traverse, in case it gets turned on in a reasonable manner. Or time. Probably time. Tarfire does turn it on, although we don't have the green for much of that. Disrupting Shoal is a very good draw, I think. We Tarfire this token and attack them, holding up Stubborn Denial and Shoal Pitch some things. If they have Dismember right now, we are in trouble, but it speeds things up, and I think that's what we need. Yeah, we pretty much can't beat them having Dismember, because they could just use it whenever they want, so if they have Dismember right now, they're good to go. Oh, actually, we don't have they have an instant, so we can't grow Goyf past the Dismember point. They are going to have Shroud, those fairies. That is a 3 CMC card that I can't counter. All of their guys have flying, so we do still attack into them. It's just that we're going to lose the race. Our opponent will be right back. So we have Tarfire on the stack pointed at this Fairy Rogue token from... That set was a long time ago. I don't know the name of it. It doesn't look like any of the Lorwyn ones, but it could be. I believe Lorwyn is when Bitter Blossom came out, so maybe it is. Could also be just a reprint set. I don't know. That looks like a Lorwyn set. Speaking of Lorwyn, Tarfire. Yeah, that's the one. That's the symbol. At least I have the Lorwyn Tarfire in paper. I don't know if this is the same one. I don't remember. It was a long time ago that I put it in the deck. So, once this Tarfire resolves, we're going to have Denial up, which is nice. We can also Snare if that becomes relevant. We also will be able to traverse for stuff. I don't believe Scion of Una, not Scion of Ugin. Although I think that's also a card. Something like that. I believe it's a colorless artifact. Scion of Una does not give itself Shroud, so if we top deck a land, we traverse for a Snapcaster Mage, and on the next turn, we can snap back Tarfire. It's unfortunate that all of these guys have flying because we're in a Merfolk-esque situation where they can block us, but we can't block them. So we can't profitably interact with our creatures, at least by blocking. What we can do to try to slow them down is attack them and hope that they block us. They probably won't because they're winning this race, but if they do, I will be very, very happy. Goyf does literally nothing unless we attack, so we're going to be attacking. Either we'll do small amounts of damage to them, or they will be slowed down ever so slightly. They'll probably kill us either way, but attacking with Goyf is going to be our best shot. Our opponent's back. Hallelujah. Let's get in there for 4. We deal 4, they take 1 off of Bitter Blossom, they swing in for 5, next turn swing in for 7, next turn swing in for 9, or they just perpetually block with their Fairy Rogue. We take 3, they take 1 off of Bitter Blossom. Either way, it does not look good for us. Let's go to the end step. We can counter 2 spells. That could be relevant. We actually might win this if they dismember and we counter it. It's entirely possible. Very unlikely. Entirely possible. We have Serum Visions. I don't know if we should use it. Getting Stomping Ground does seem to have been correct, unless we used the Traverse earlier, because otherwise we don't have red and green, and we played these red and green spells. So we did need this land, we had the island, we couldn't have gotten more blue, so it's not like not being able to use the Serum Visions was a clear misplay. It is possible we should have used this Traverse earlier. I don't remember if we had a good chance to. I think we attack. I don't know what else we do. If we can find a Lightning Bolt or a Tarfire, and they don't have a counter, I think we're in a good spot. If they have another Scion of Una, we will be in trouble. Neither of these cards does what we need. Second Disrupting Shoal doesn't look good here. Do we just use this Traverse and suck it up? I wonder if we should have sucked it up before. Yeah, let's get an island. I think that was some bad sequencing. Although we did have the chance to find a Lightning Bolt on top. I think that was bad. We will attack. Maybe knock them down to 7. Maybe they block. They do block. They don't want to take more damage. It looks like we're going to die. We take another 5. Do we have a way to stop them? Lightning Bolt, Snapcaster Mage. It's Snapcaster. So we have the extra island. Now it comes down to whether or not they have a counter that we can't shoal. So we can shoal pitch 2 and shoal pitch 1. And they can't have a Scion of Una. Here we go, Snapcaster Mage. Target that. We have a chance. Spell Stutter Sprite. I would love to target that. We're going to pitch the Spreading Seas in case they have a 1-mana spell we can counter. Come on. Do we have it? Do we have it? Are we in the game? We're in the game. Are we in the game? Oh, Scion of Una died. It just hasn't updated the board. I was confused. We have a chance. It's really not big because they're going to block and probably hit us for 2. But we have a chance. Last game, or last match, I should say, although it was also the last game because games are in matches. Last match we played against Grixis Death's Shadow, and I drew a Narnum Renegade off the top, which probably saved us, or at least made our lives much easier. This game, okay, second Bitter Blossom is a huge problem, we can't snare it. This game, I drew a Snapcaster Mage off the top, which was way better than Renegade. Fun stuff. Fun stuff. I think I want to Thought Scour first, in case we get the good things. I don't know what those things are. Misty Rainforest probably is not included in them, but I do like turning over that Delver. Wait, it wasn't Delver. It was Scalding Tarn. Oh, Misty Rainforest would have supplied the land anyways, were it necessary, although if we fetch, they just don't block and we die. We're going to attack because, once again, either this snap deals 2 or they decide to trade with it. So I very much want that Snapcaster to be attacking. It's just going to do 2. That's probably a good choice on our opponent's part. They would have taken another 4, and we could very well have Lightning Bolt in our hand. We will hold that fetch. It's pretty unlikely that we take this game because they have these 4 guys, but they do have to block. So if they don't have anything good, we might actually win. Do I want to fetch? Go down to 1. I think I do. I think I do. We're going to 1. I will be very happy if we win. Breeding Pool tapped. Steam Vents tapped. Do we need a second green source or a second red source? I actually don't think it matters because we only have 1 draw step. So we can't Bolt, Snap, Bolt because we can't draw both Bolt and Snap. We actually don't have any bolts in our graveyard, so let's get a green source. We don't even have the option of shocking. That's how low our life is. Okay, Serum Visions. Totally plausible. Scalding Tarn is not. We're gonna attack. They almost certainly block, and then we die. We did our best, so I am quite content with how this match played out. They're blocking both because they don't want to see a Lightning Bolt here. If they took 2 and we had Bolt, they'd be dead. Unfortunately, we don't have Bolt. If we did have Bolt in hand, fetching gets worse because, worst case scenario, we just tag one of those tokens, take 1 without fetching, and we would go to 1 there. As is, they have flyers, we can't block them. They don't go to 0. If we have a Lightning Bolt here, they are dead because of Bitter Blossom. But alas, poor Yorick, I knew him. Okay, game 2 against Faeries. How's it gonna go? I'm almost positive that they run Mutavault, and they might even run Fairy Conclave, so they do have Manlands. But I don't think Spreading Seas is going to be good enough to justify its use. Curiosity seems kind of bad because how well they can block. Goyf is going to be walled for days. Mandrills does have some trample, so he's a good Curiosity target. Delver can be easily blocked and probably traded with, so I don't like Curiosity there. Renegade probably gets sided out here. Snapcaster Mage obviously is not played for the 2/1 body. So I think Curiosity goes. I probably want the Tarfires. I don't know about the Bolts yet. On the play, the Mana Leaks look good. The Dismember looks pretty bad. Pyroclasm seems like an excellent card to bring in. Anything else I don't want? Simic Charm, probably best thing about it is Trample. Maybe the Hexproof will be relevant. Also the +3/+3, we'll leave it on that slide. So stuff that could come in, stuff that is out, stuff that might be out. Disrupting Shoal looks pretty good depending on how many cards we bring in. Do you play Blood Moon against Faeries? I don't play against Faeries very often. Unfortunately, you guys can't tell me. Engineered Explosives looks amazing here. Gets around Shroud, Huntmaster, for obvious reasons. I like Destructive Revelry. Don't think that I want Ancient Grudge. Do I want the Mountain? So these cards might come in. If they do, Disrupting Shoal probably goes away. I do kind of like Scour. Maybe we trim a leak. I really don't know. I don't remember the last time I played against Faeries. I think I want the Mountain because it looks like my curve's going up. I don't know if I want these Blood Moons. Maybe I only want a couple because they aren't heavy on manlands and we're basically only trying to color screw them with it. We need to cut some cards though, so I think it's going to be Thought Scour. It doesn't look like we have room for this Simic Charm to come back in. Probably a Mana Leak or two. Denial looks pretty good, but actually Denial is a little worse against a deck that interacts with creature spells because those are specifically what Denial does not counter. So, is the first Blood Moon better than the second of any of these counter spells or the first Snare? I'm not sure. We currently have 7 counter spells. I kind of just want to run this without the Blood Moons. Maybe we bring in 1, take out a Disrupting Shoal, take out 2 Shoals, bring in a Moon. Something like that. I think that's good. Disrupting Shoal was good there, but once you start bringing in Moon, it gets a lot worse. We can cast Goyf, we can cast Leak, we can cast Denial. We're really close to casting Huntmaster. This hand looks pretty fantastic, to be quite honest. I am exaggerating at least a little bit because we don't have much interaction, although there is Mana Leak. Land tapped, or do we hold up Denial? What 1 CMC non-creature spells can they play? An Inquisition. I could roll with countering an Inquisition. Obviously, our life total is very relevant in this matchup, because last game we lost. I believe we were at -1 life when we died because we were at 1 and they swung for 2. So, not shocking 1 time in that game. Oh, Second Huntmaster, these are either going to be the best or the worst. Not shocking 1 time in that game would get us up to 3 life. We take 2, we're at 1, we survive, and we might win. So I'm not going to shock just for the hell of it. I'm going to very intelligently shock. That said, I kind of want to play Goyf. Maybe hold up Mana Leak, but they have some good instants. So I think we're just going to play this Goyf. It's an 0-1. That's fine. What are they going to do? Disfigure it? I don't think Faeries is running Disfigure now that Fatal Push has been printed. Well, we did not get the Disrupting Shoal out quickly enough. We only have the 1 blue source, so we're not going to bother shocking, and this Goyf actually can't really attack. It could. It very well could attack. It's not going to. I clicked to your turn instead of holding up Mana Leak. I apologize. I just lost us the game. Probably. We can play Huntmaster, but it is pretty likely that that costs us the game. It was certainly an oversight and or a misclick, probably both. That was really bad. We're going to end step. We have Shoal. That is what you do. That was extremely bad. I 100% should have and would have Mana Leaked that. Goyf would be a 3/4. I apologize once again. That was very bad. And they're obviously going to be poking us because we can't block, and I don't think they have very good blocks. I like that Scion of Una isn't great on this board. 0-1 Goyf either dies or we shoal. Do we want to shoal? Probably. Denial isn't super likely to be amazing on this board. Spell Stutter Sprite. They have many fairies. So Spell Stutter Sprite pretty much just hard counters whatever the hell they want. Goyf will die. Spells were cast, so we can't do much with that. We can play Huntmaster, play Tarfire, or let this transform and hold up Mana Leak. We are going to attack with the Wolf. Regardlessly, if we had countered this, they would have had 2 fairies, maybe 3. 3 fairies. Shoal was a 3 CMC spell. Even if we countered the Bitter Blossom, Shoal still gets countered. Let's see. Should we play this Huntmaster? Probably. Yeah. Given that Spell Stutter Sprite is pretty much a hard counter, I think we just want to play out our threats while they're tapped out. This is scary. This is scary for obvious reasons. If they play a Scion of Una, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 power in play, 8 of which swings on this turn, which is extremely terrifying. I would probably go for Tarfire, the Scion of Una, and hope we can survive. They are cycling. Ooh, Fetid Pools. Look at that. They play one of the cycle lands. That's cool. That is very cool. I'm hoping they don't draw a spell, for obvious reasons. I would like to mow down their board in true Huntmaster fashion. Them fatal pushing a wolf is a testament to what Huntmaster does. I believe I attack with this wolf. I don't want to swing with Huntmasters because they could gang block. Then we have to Tarfire, and then they don't transform. So we get an extra 2 damage in, but we lose the transformation triggers on this turn, which probably provide more damage. I believe they are on the back foot, which is probably why they're blocking. They lose 2 life on each of their upkeeps because of Bitter Blossom. On their turn, we're going to transform. Many triggers make for light work. You, Spell Stutter. Let's see if that happens. Excellent. You again. That token. I really like Huntmaster of the Fells. I think this card is absolutely fantastic. I know I say it a lot, but I feel I can't say it enough. This card is great. I've even sometimes tried to figure out how to play it in the main board, but unfortunately running a 1 of 4 drop in your 17, sometimes 18 land deck main board is probably a bad idea. We did not take the Disrupting Shoal out in time. We didn't take out the Shoal or bring in the Moon, but things are going to change anyways because we are now on the draw. Mana Leak probably gets worse. Blood Moon certainly gets worse. I think we take out the Blood Moons and go on the Shoal plan. We'll take out the Blood Moon. Shoal in. Excuse me. I think we run something like that. It's possible I want to cut a Mana Leak. Let's look at our sideboard. I don't like Surgical. I don't even know if they run Snapcaster Mage anymore. They probably run at least one. You probably know I like this card. I think it's a pretty good 1 of. I would run a 1 of Snapcaster Mage. Probably evidenced by the fact that I do run a 1 of Snapcaster Mage. I don't think I want Surgical. Blood Moon seems too slow. Dismember's probably bad. Ancient Grudge, we haven't seen any artifacts, and I don't think they play any. Spreading Seas doesn't seem to do much. Curiosity, they have way too many blockers. Renegade can't block, and a 2-3 Death Touch probably isn't the kind of clock we want against a deck with a bunch of 1/1 tokens. Dismember's still bad, didn't change after the last 4 cards I looked at. Simic Charm gives Hexproof, which is nice, but it's probably going to be slow. I might bring it in just because we're running these Disrupting Shoals still. We're going to look at our blue cards. We have a minute to do that. We're fine. Might bring in a Thought Scour or two. I still don't think I want these counters. How many blue cards do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 CMC blue cards, which might be the more important number because Spell Stutter Sprite, but CMC equals 1. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's really low. That is probably too low for us to run Disrupting Shoal. We brought in 6, 7, 8 cards that don't play nice with it, so I think we're probably best off cutting these and just speeding us up with, say, Thought Scour and Denial. Go for more of a Hooting Mandrels plan. I'm kind of sad that we can't profitably run Disrupting Shoal right now, but we'd have to side out some number of explosives, Huntmaster. Maybe we cut 1 explosives. We already have the Pyroclasm. So if I'm okay with cutting 1, I don't want to cut more because Bitter Blossom is the main threat here. I don't want to cut this. I'm not cutting these burn spells. Maybe I should. Probably not. We can run a shoal. No, we're gonna do that. Go for that sort of plan. I don't think Disrupting Shoal is going to be good enough to justify when we only have so few blue cards. Island, Forest, Mountain gives us Blood Moon mana. I actually think this hand is pretty good. Gonna keep. We have 3 lands. Probably a good number for a post-board configuration rocking 4 Huntmasters. Creeping Tar Pit is their opener. That's not particularly scary, at least not yet. This makes me want to get a shock. Specifically a shock with this. Let's get a Steam Vent. Do I want double red or double green? I didn't consider that when I first started fetching. I might want double green. Go with a Breeding Pool? Probably. I think this is one of those matchups where double green is likely better. We're going to start with a Delver. I like starting with a Serum Visions if I need to fix my mana, because if you don't get your mana on board, you're going to lag pretty hard. However, we have 3 lands, so we may as well play the clock first. And they take away all of our threats in one fell swoop. Let's get an island and cast a Serum Visions. Gas back up. Oh my gas! Wow. Snapcaster Mage actually looks pretty bad here, but Hoots and Hoots with 4 in the yard and a Scour looks pretty good. So let's do it. And we can't play a land, so we may as well Visions again. Oh, actually, Visions was in the bin. We could have played Mandrels. I like both of these being right where they are. In that order, yes. Next turn, we're going to go Mandrels plus Delver. I think it's time we get our clock on. Opponent has no 3rd land drop. Let's start with Delver in case they have something like a Mana Leak or a Remand. I don't actually know if they run those cards, but Spell Stutter Sprite means they won't be countering a Hooting Mandrels. Absolutely. Happens. Let's get this Mandrels up in here. And what do we delve? I think I want to save a land, so let's keep the Foothills. We're going to be getting rid of some creatures. Let's do that. We're going to get creatures in the graveyard if Traverse matters. That's my only real consideration here. I believe Snapcaster Mage is still on the bottom of our library, so until we find a shuffle effect, I don't care about supporting Snap, and Snap Visions is not the worst you can do. And Step Scour. Who knows? We could draw a Huntmaster. I don't want this caught in my hand. 1 Traverse is in the graveyard. Goif. Just 1. I was going to say, if both are in the graveyard, we're going to stop caring about Traverse real quick. So we probably attack first, I think. I like our opponent's attacks there because they don't have very good blocks against a Hooting Mandrills. Trample is a hell of a keyword. Let's go with this and play out a Goyf. If they have Spell Stutter Sprite, sell a V, life goes on. What are you gonna do? Goyf gets mana leaked. Shall we play another Hooting Mandrills? I feel like we should... Oh, sorry. We can't do that. I feel like we should play another Hooting Mandrills. I just have this gut instinct that the correct play is Hooting Mandrills. We can put a land in the graveyard, so I really don't care about delving away a land. I'm also pretty low on the care about Delirium scale right now. I may as well hold up this fetch just in case we bluff something. May as well. It's not like we're going to need mana. It's possible that we scour away the last of our fetchables, but I'm pretty comfortable with that scour there. And let's get in for 8, 2-turn clock. Person with 2-turn clock say what? That's us. So I guess we should say what? I did, so that's okay. We can't snare that. That's a bad sign. That's probably the best card they could find. Revelry off the top. I should have fetched, and I still will. Actually, first we're gonna make sure we have fetchables. What is here? Not fetchables. Fetching a land tapped is probably perfectly fine in this particular spot. Steam Vents, because more blue and more red. I want to see a Destructive Revelry now. It's a Pyroclasm. Does that help? It legit might. I think we... Okay. So we're going to play our Mountain. If we attack with both, they block with the Batter Skull. Worm token? Is it a worm? Germ token, not worm. They block with the Germ token. They take 4. They gain 4. We lose a Mandrills. They lose this token. We Pyroclasm. They lose Spell Stutter Sprite. And if they don't have a creature, they can't use Batter Skull anymore. I think that's our best line. So we're going to go for it. I very much wish we had a Destructive Revelry right now, because we would win the game quite handily. Would have been dope. Ancient Grudge also would be good. Maybe we should have brought it in. I can't say for sure. We're gonna do that. Hold up Spell Snare, and hope that they don't have a non-2CMC threat. What do you have, sir? God, this is exciting. I love Magic. Do you guys love Magic? I really hope you love Magic. 0 creatures. Could be a flash threat, but they can't equip at instant speed. They might bounce it back to their hand and replay it. That would be bad for us. EE on 0 is able to kill Germ tokens, which means we attack. They might take 4 right now. They took 4. They're going to bounce the Batter Skull, play it again. We'll cast EE for 0, pop it for 2, kill the token. Doesn't matter how big your stats are. EE only cares about CMC, and I don't believe they have a way to stop us at that point. Of course, they still have cards in their hand. I don't think they should be playing out their lands. I don't know how much mana they need, but I don't think they need that much. Lightning Bolt makes our awesome EE plan kind of moot, but they might have an out, so I think we still cast it. 4-0. Happens. We pop it. Pay 1, 2. Yeah, okay. So they didn't have an out to explosives. Maybe they had an out to bolt, but if they had a spell stutter to counter the explosives, they could have done so, which means either card was lethal. Didn't matter. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and hopefully you forgive my egregious misplay of... I don't even remember what it was. I clicked skip to our turn, yielding all priority, while having Disrupting Shoal in my hand, and did not counter a Bitter Blossom, which could have gone on to kill us. Thankfully, Huntmasters carried the weight of my misplay on their, I don't know, extraordinarily buff shoulders, and they saved the day. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I certainly did, as you can probably tell. And hopefully you guys come back for the next one. I may or may not do another video. I played a lot of Magic this week. Mostly because I didn't play a lot of Magic last week. Still getting used to working and having a summer class. Really changes the schedule a lot. Anyways, I'm not going to bore you guys with details. Of course, you could just close the video anytime you like. So if ever you find that I'm rambling on and on, as I do, just make me shut up. Simple as that. See you guys.